a listener production.
Hey, it's Antoinette Lattouf. Welcome to the Weekend Briefing, where we shove the news of the day to the bottom of the ironing pile and instead press into something that is steaming hot right now. And today's guest, well, she owns it, comedian Elouise Eftos, who's crowned herself Australia's first attractive comedian. And honestly, who's arguing? The Greek Macedonian comic loves to throw new audiences off with her confidence, her bold stage outfits, and her absolute refusal to self-deprecate. Because, let's be real, Greek goddesses didn't stand around doubting themselves. We also take a very important anthropological deep dive into the evil eye, how for many Eastern European and Middle Eastern cultures, this ancient curse still rules our lives. And later it is the weekend list where my producer Helen Smith and I dish up some hot, slightly weird but undeniably great tips on what to watch, eat and do. Stick around, but first, here's my chat with Elouise Eftos. Elouise, welcome to the Weekend Briefing.
Thank you so much for having me.
So your tagline is Australia's first attractive comedian. And I must ask, how do you think comedy legends like Carl Barron and Kitty Flanagan feel about that?
I think that they should have a laugh. That's what I think. I think that I don't know if they know who I am yet because there's a few people that are unaware of me, which is so weird. How do you not know who I am?
Yeah.
I love that you said it like that. It's one of those things where I love being silly and having a laugh and having a joke, and very much my persona that I play on stage, which is probably more a very heightened version of me, is very high status. And so I always thought I never had anything in my Instagram bio. I think I always was a bit scared to call myself a comedian at first because I look at people like Carl Barron and Kitty Flanagan and I'm like, they're the comedians in Australia. They're like the big names. And I was just some little actor that was trying to get seen and I guess, get some stage time, write a few jokes, have a bit of fun. And during lockdown, I started getting articles written about me. And they didn't know what to call me. They just said someone. They didn't say I was an actor or a comedian because I didn't have it in my bio. I think I thought it was a little bit like...
What were the articles about?
About some videos that I made. Right. Some one of them that went viral was about the AFL not paying the grand final dancers, which is very, I think I studied film and journalism, so that's what I have my degree in. I'm an actor and a singer and dancer and all these things. And I think I found it funny to make satirical videos about these situations to show how ridiculous things are. Like the AFL can't afford to pay dancers. Like, are you joking? One of the biggest corporations. And during lockdown of all time, like during COVID 2020, this isn't like, further down the track. And after everything the artists had been through, and when they wrote articles about me, they didn't know what to call me. And I went, I better put something in there.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so funny to call myself Australia's first attractive comedian because I think it's not only hilarious, but I was told by so many, especially male comedians, that I was too pretty to do comedy. And I was like, oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess I am then. So I may as well say I'm the first.
And you often walk onto stage looking like hot, cheeky, confident. Do you enjoy that moment where the audience is a little bit confused?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny, Antoinette, because I feel like there's moments where I can see the crowd. I talk about it in my show and I talk about it in my set because I find it's like a social experiment. It's like a litmus test. Yeah. So I walk out and I say that I see women in the crowd put their hands on their husband's legs. It's like, who's this? Who does she think she is? Already the crowd's firstly, as a woman, they're already on the defense, already like, here we go. She's not going to be funny. That's usually the first judgment that they have. And then because of how I'm dressed and how I look, they've already made an assumption about me. It's very much judging a book by its cover. And then the fact that when I start talking, I am actually quite sassy and quick. And I like to think that playing the high status persona dressed as I am is almost like it's like a political statement for me. Do you know what I mean?
What is the high status persona?
For me, it's like I don't do self-deprecating humour.
Yeah, right.
I don't do self-deprecating. At first I did. I've said this in a few interviews before when I first started writing in this character, I guess. Because at first it was a character. I guess I'm not really like that in real life. But I guess maybe she's like my final form, I hope, almost. Like I want to be as confident as that in real life. Imagine how much I could get done if I was like that. So you're going, oh, sorry, like, you know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's, as women, we've been conditioned to be that way. Basically, I was singing and dancing in a cabaret show back in Perth, and it was like sexy burlesque cabaret vibe, right? And I was the MC as well. And I would be on stage like in lingerie and like little sexy dresses. And I was the MC, and I was basically being like, don't fucking touch us, don't do this, don't do that. I'm running the night, but I'm making silly jokes. I had to be powerful. You have to be strong. You have to be, it was so fun to be like that, I guess, as a woman on stage and sort of, you know, we're in control. Don't fuck with us up here, or when we're through the crowd, you know. And then when I started writing jokes, which some of them happened while I was emceeing, and then when I started writing jokes, it just was in that voice where I was sort of like, I would never speak to you in the crowd. I would never speak to these comedians. They're so weird. Like, it was just this world that I created of like, what if this girl that was almost like the popular girl in high school came and started doing comedy, and she's like, people don't want me to be here, but I'm actually so good at it. Like, I'm actually better than everyone else at it. Like, imagine that. And then it was so funny.
Were you that popular girl at high school?
Absolutely not. I was the opposite. I was bullied in high school. I was like the drama nerd. I was never cool. I was like a theatre nerd, and I was bullied primary school, high school. I think as later in high school, I found my little niche thing of making people, I was like class clown, and I was like a floater, and I was friends with people in a few different groups. And then I ended up becoming arts captain. So it wasn't like I was not popular. I wasn't eventually, but it wasn't like I never really went to like parties or like, you know, I remember, jumping around, but I remember even when I first started high school, this has almost like come into my act later in life, but that whole idea of if you're good at something, it's very Australian to like put people down. I remember I was like a singer, so I would sing in.
That's whole part of the whole self-deprecating thing. Most of our comedians are self-deprecating. It's inherent in the Aussie persona.
Exactly, because if you fall on your sword, it's so much easier to make people laugh. If you're sort of like, oh my God, I hate myself, and everyone's like, you know, it's almost like Hannah Gadsby's Nanette that's what it's about. It's about like I have to put myself down to make you laugh. I didn't want to make fun of myself. I just remember in high school when I first started, we're at assembly and it was a choir, and I trained as a singer since I was like 8. Like, I was in a classical children's choir, and singing was like my number one thing. And I was singing pretty loud, I guess. And I guess I was, you know, I knew how to project my voice. I remember these girls coming up to me after going, oh, you think you're pretty good, don't you? Like, at singing. Like, this is, it's very much that culture. And I sort of was like, oh no, like I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassed to be good at things, or embarrassed to be proud of being good at something. And that's why when I started doing comedy and I started writing in this persona that was very confident and knew she was hot, at first though, she was actually a bit of a, hate to say it, but like probably I made her actually quite unintelligent. Like, she was almost like a bimbo character, because I think it was like easier to make her that way. And then there was a moment that I just kind of flicked, and I was like, I'm using my own name. I don't want to be stupid on stage. She's not an idiot. She knows exactly what she's talking about. I wanted her to almost be all the things, annoyingly good at everything. Yeah. I thought that would almost piss people off and make them laugh. I hoped it would make the right people laugh, which is women and gay men.
And has it?
Yeah.
Perfect. And I want to talk about that moment of realisation when you are in your lingerie, you're being the mistress of ceremony at that event you described. Yeah. What happened on that night that made you go, I can own this?
I think there was something.
Do the gags.
Yeah, I think there was something about that. So that's a good question, because I think there was something that I think as a woman, being feminine and being confident with your sexuality is something that we're almost I'd say we're predominantly shamed for. And I think there was something so fun about owning your sexuality and dancing in lingerie or a sexy outfit and doing it because you wanted to be there and you wanted to do it and you like moving your body and moving to music. And I don't think we ever felt like we were doing this for men. We were doing it for our own enjoyment. And of course it's entertainment and everything, but it was always so fun I love music and I love dancing and to do that, and then to also be the MC and to almost make people laugh, but then also be this almost, I hate sometimes that people say this about me, but it's almost like an intimidating thing of almost being sexy, smart, confident, and funny and being almost like ahead of everybody, like ready to. There's something about that there was like I think there was like a little switch that in my brain was like, this is so fun, and I wish I could be like this all the time almost. Like it's really empowering to, I don't know, be almost in control or be. I think also women, so many times people are like, women aren't funny. I was like, most of the people that I know are the funniest are women.
Yeah.
It's almost like that, I don't know, that feeling of owning your femininity as well.
Yeah, I feel like we have come, I want to say a long way. We have come some way into acknowledging or accepting women are funny. Like we have Kitty Flanagan, who I mentioned earlier, and Fisk is, I think, incredible. The ABC's most successful show ever.
Incredible.
And there are a whole host of other female comedians. I'm not quite sure that we are at the funny, confident, not self-deprecating. And I want to talk about Nikki Glaser. I think that's how you say it.
Glaser?
Glaser,
yes,
that's it.
Yeah,
Glaser.
she's amazing.
At the Golden Globes because she was whip smart, but cutting everyone down to size, wearing stilettos with legs for days. Was that a reassuring moment for you, or did that highlight the difference between, I guess, American culture and Australian culture, where you can be a little bit more, I'm amazing, and I'm generalising
Absolutely.
here, but I'm amazing. Like,
you're 100%
whereas
right.
in Australia, it's like, well, I might be a little bit good.
Are you amazing?
But I'm terrible at all of these things. Let me make fun of all the things I'm terrible at.
I've got to make sure that you feel comfortable because we all have to be on the same plane. Like, you know, tall poppy syndrome makes me feel sick. And I talk about that in my show too because it's just, for me, just a way to control everybody and make us all, like, we're all equal. It's like, we're not equal. Like, let's not pretend that cutting people down is going to make you feel better. It's like a projection, like jealousy, and I hate it. But from what you said, it made me realize even more, and I've always said this, that my comedy is almost, this is going to sound I sound like my persona. Yeah. I think my comedy is almost too far ahead of where Australia's at, that I have always felt like I need to go overseas. And I feel like the UK and the US get my style of comedy more because they're not scared of it and they're used to it. There's other people that already do it.
Yeah.
So when I've done just little stand-up gigs and when I've been over there in LA, New York, even New Jersey and in London and Edinburgh last year, they just are so they're up for the persona. They're not scared. I feel like there's times in Australia where people will hate my act and they won't get it at all because they're so, I don't know, they're scared of what I'm saying, or like they don't get that I'm joking. It's like it says Comedy Store behind me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's you're at a comedy club. It's like I'm joking, but they can't fathom. It's almost like Australia's a little bit behind. Like I love Australia and I do feel like I have a really strong audience here and I think it's building and I'm really excited by that. But it's almost like it's too niche for some people. It's very much like, I mean, I'm personally not queer. I'm an ally and I have a lot of queer friends, but I feel like it's almost like that drag queen, you know, biting whip. But it's like, what, I have to have a wig on and be a man dressed as a woman to make you feel comfortable that I'm joking. It's like, heaven forbid a woman in Australia dress how I dress and make fun of men, make fun of how women treat women. I do feel like it just confirmed. Seeing Nikki, it just confirms like, they're just accepting of, I guess it's just their culture. I mean, that's why they've got Trump as president. Do you know what I mean? Like they're accepting of people that are like, I'm really good at this. Whereas like in Australia, if you were like, I'm the best, you'd be like, you're an asshole. Like, you know, calm down. I wish there was just like a middle ground. Yeah. But that's how long-winded answer.
No. It's fascinating to hear. I do love how you mix your musical training with your comedy and we're just going to play a little clip. How do your family respond to your comedy?
It's a great question. I actually just came back from Perth doing Perth Fringe and staying with my family and my parents are very supportive, which I'm very lucky. And I feel like they've always known that I would be a performer of some sort. I've been dancing since I was like a kid, you know, dancing and singing and all of that. They're very supportive of it. I think my dad probably wishes that he was a comedian a little bit. He's very funny, which is great. But I do feel that other members of my family, I don't know if you would feel this way too, but a little bit being in the public eye and sort of being outspoken and speaking your mind as a woman as well. Unfortunately, I feel like as a Greek Macedonian woman, I feel like I have had to unlearn a lot of this like village mentality of I'm shaming the family name and that kind of bullshit. I actually think I hate it. It actually happened when I was just back there. My grandmother, my baba, was in hospital. She's all right. She's 92. You know, she's doing pretty well. She's in a home now, but I was visiting her and I had my uncle who I've already had to like sort of cut off certain family members or block them because a few years ago posted just a little something on election day saying don't vote Liberal just because your parents do. Yeah. That's all I said.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe I shouldn't have said the political party, but I was like, I feel like I've done that before. Just when I was like 18, I was like, well, who do I, just because your parents vote for a certain way. That's all I said.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of my family members, they took that as an attack on them. And I feel like I've had to cop this as a kid even, is like whatever I did, especially with social media these days. I'm sorry, but like, parents and uncles and aunties, they would have got away with murder compared to it's like we're being patrolled by, it's like looking for Brandy, you know what I mean? And I hated that it became this thing like my dad's getting messages, I'm getting attacked on my Instagram, I'm having like
Your dad's getting messages? Like people are doing on you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like sick. It's like, and it's embarrassing because I feel like I'm 32 now, then I would have been maybe like, 29? And even then, when I went back just recently, and luckily my dad like backs me up, but when I was back recently visiting my grandmother, my uncle walks in and I already feel this fear of I don't want to do anything wrong by my family or say anything that's completely, I don't know.
But I think there's this thing, I don't know if it's specific to ethnic or migrant families, but it feels magnified about bring shame to the community and what will your uncles say and what are the aunties saying at the markets and whatever. And so even that if your family don't care about something or your direct, the people you're really close to, they're worried about how other people will perceive you.
And that's what I find.
All the gossip at the church.
The gossip at the church. I'm going, okay, like some of these families don't even go to church, you know what I mean? But it's the fact that my uncle said to me, and I guess I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay and I'm not going to walk out. I don't only come to Perth one time a year. And I was sitting there and my uncle decided, and I guess I talk about my work because I guess it's what my focus is on at the time. And I was doing Perth Fringe and it was going really well. I was selling out shows and I had won a weekly award and I couldn't believe the response. It was really exciting, especially in my hometown. I was sitting there talking about it and then my uncle feels like I think that was his chance to sort of backhandedly tell me, maybe I just don't think Eftos is a very showbiz, very entertainment, you know, name. You should maybe change it to something a bit more. This is crazy. He was like something more Jewish, and I'm like, here we go. Like to say something like that is crazy to me. And why would he
suggest that?
Jews run Hollywood vibe.
Oh, wow.
Which is such
just an anti-Semitic trope. Yeah, wow.
Horrible.
Wow.
For me to sit there and hear that and then to be told,
but also
you should change your last name.
Oh,
and then Antoinette, I sort of went, I tried to be respectful. You've always got to be respectful, right?
Yes.
Even though I'm in my 30s. And then I'm going, oh, it's a bit too late for that, you know, Uncle so-and-so. And he goes, oh, you know, just because I know that people would be coming to your show because of our last name. And I was like, what are we, the fucking Kennedys? What are you talking about? What are we, the Murdochs? Like the way that he was talking about it as if people were coming just to see what I was doing because of our last name. And I was like, okay. And I tried not to freak out, but then he tried to do, you know, you're a parent.
Yes.
The whole bluffing thing, like, you know, I remember my dad telling me, oh, I saw a lady with a short thumb because she sucked her thumb too much. You don't bluff your kids to make them stop doing something. He said, oh, you know, when I was working, he's retired now, when I was working, I had people say to me, come and see what your niece is doing on Instagram. And I was like, oh, sorry, what? Like, and he goes, oh, I don't want to see. And I went, so who is this person? To my uncle, I went, could you please tell me? I'll block them right now. That's quite inappropriate, I think, to do that. Feeling very stressed. My grandmother's sitting there on the bed, you know, and his wife and him at the same time. Oh, this was years ago. This was
so they're bluffing me. We all have. Sadly, so many of us joke about the racist uncle, and it sounds like that's one, but also trying to kind of like shame you, confuse you, put you down, all in one.
And I left that interaction and I was bawling my eyes out, Antoinette, and I feel, this is so like, I feel almost like scared to even talk about it, but at the same time I'm like, I'm glad that I'm talking about it because I think also I do have a lot of ethnic women and men that watch my comedy and hear me talk about this stuff, and I do feel like it's something that I want to address in my next show, this whole idea of shaming the family name or like this village mentality of like you you have to do the right thing and you can't make any mistakes, especially as a woman. You can't be outspoken. You can't say, and you know what makes me so angry is that my show is doing really well and I'm talking about issues that I feel so passionately about. I'm talking about feminism. I'm talking about the patriarchy. I'm actually saying something with this show. This isn't just me being an idiot on stage. Yes, I'm being an idiot, but I've actually got a message and they'll never come to the show.
Yeah.
But the fact that he tried to make me feel shame and make me feel, it's something that I'm still trying to unlearn. And and luckily, I guess my parents and my sisters are very supportive, but even I get frustrated because sometimes I feel like I'm like, Dad, can you please just like back me up? But I do feel like I've just had to remove myself because even I got scared. My dad saw my show. Like I dance at the end in like lingerie as a fembot. Like that's how I end my show. Not to give too much away, but there's moments where I'm talking about stuff that is, I'd be pretty mortified to see my dad's reaction to what I was saying. But at the same time, I don't want to feel this way about expressing myself as a woman in her 30s. Like I want to live my life and be able to talk and say something because I also know that there's people in the crowd that I feel this way about my friends who are comedians, who are ethnic. I feel so proud that they feel even my best friend, like one of my best friends, Abby Chatfield, when she talks about sex and relationships, this is something that I feel almost like a bit of a fear to talk about. And I do want to delve into it more in my next show. And I don't want to feel shame about something and be like, I shouldn't be allowed to talk about this.
And I think that shame, yes, is probably magnified with what you call the village mentality. Yeah. But just more broadly, even among women, among people you don't know, people on the internet. I do wonder, though, if you could kind of push back at that uncle and be like, well, the Greek Herald called me bold, beautiful and beguiling. I saw that article about you. It's like, I made it in the Greek Herald, uncle.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't know how much more I have to do to prove myself. And at the same time, that's the problem, Antoinette. I don't want to have to prove myself. And that's what I think.
Well, they're not your audience.
They're not. And the fact that I even had like my dad, bless him, like I think it comes from a place of love and caring and wanting to protect me. But he's like, oh, a few of my friends are coming and I don't know what they're going to think. And I was like, firstly, tell them not to come. I'll refund their tickets. I really don't care if they're there. Like, thanks for the money, but it's not for them. The show's not for them. And what I found really funny is his friends did come and they did really enjoy the show. But you know what's really funny is I think men of that age, even they can't even just say, I love the show, it's very entertaining, congratulations. It's like, I'm not usually entertained, but that show really, it's always this backhanded, like
piss
little
off with the butt, bro.
Yeah, I'm almost just going like, and then even like my dad, like bless him, I think it comes from a place of, I had to have a bit of a word with him and I think it's just like, he worries that people, of course he worries. I'm his daughter, but he's a friend's son came to the show and he walked out and my dad said to me, he didn't say anything about the show. He just didn't say anything to me about it. And I went, okay, why are you telling me? Yeah. And he goes, because despite the content, it's very entertaining. I go, don't say that. Yeah. Don't say that to me, Dad. Like, and I sort of had to call him out. And of course, it has the wog dad reaction of like, oh, Elouise, you're being a bit sensitive. Like, don't talk to me
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, I think that it is something that I'm learning to just get better and better at ignoring because unfortunately the criticism isn't just from family. This is from random people who already just want to shame women for firstly just how they look, let alone what they're saying on stage. And the amount of times I've had, people, especially, it's one of the most punk rock things I can do. Saying punk rock makes me laugh. But to say that I'm hot on stage makes people go crazy. It makes them, they want to bring me down. It's wild. I wish I thought I was always hot. Like clearly it's part of the act, but it's also, I find it very empowering to stand on stage and go, I'm like way too hot to do this. And people are in the crowd going, are you? Who do you think you are? Like, guys will find my Instagram and comment after seeing me crush at the Comedy Store. It happened just last week. And a guy was like, stop making it your whole act. It's cringe. Like, you're not funny and you're not hot. And I was like, oh, that sounds like something an ugly guy would say. And he blocked me.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy. Like, it's just crazy how the patriarchy has benefited off women hating themselves.
Absolutely.
The beauty industry, the like every capitalist, we
have
all
to feel
benefited.
terrible about ourselves all the time. Otherwise, we're not spending.
It's just, we're not spending. We're not adhering to what men want. Like the fact that I even play different characters in my show to make fun of these female, I guess you call them tropes, but like stereotypes of male fantasies. And one of the first ones that I play is the bookworm. And she's like British and she's very shy. And she's like, hi, God, I'm so God, sorry, I'm so embarrassed. I would never do this, but you're so handsome. And even when I do that character, I can see men in the audience like falling in love with her. She's like the typical like shy. Yeah. She doesn't know she's beautiful. And the task for that character, it's like we're playing a video game. And the task for her is that to get her number. And whenever they ask for a number, I really double down and I go, oh, but I'm not beautiful. You don't want my number. Of course, don't be silly. And that for me is it's just so funny. It's like, why is that attractive?
Yeah.
To what? To not know.
I need to tell you and make you feel beautiful because that's my job.
But if you knew it, she thinks she's pretty amazing. Right? And then also like, I'm jumping around, but I'm thinking about seeing all the vibrator ads. Just even that idea of like, not only do they benefit off us not knowing that we're attractive, it's like even self-pleasure, like the whole idea of like, I think I was so scared to post, like I was asked to do a vibrator commercial, a little ad on Instagram, and I ended up saying yes because it was with two of my friends, and I think I was like, what are my family going to say? But I feel so strongly about this. I really do feel strongly about women discovering self-pleasure because then again, how many women don't even orgasm during sex because they don't even know how to do it. They don't even know about their own bodies and they're just trying to fake it for a man to feel better. It's like it's all part of that same culture and that same, it frustrates me because what I'm saying I think really triggers people, but I think it's really important to say it. I think because I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it in this way, it's funny, but I don't know. It's like a litmus test. It's a litmus test.
I want to talk about something that is really prevalent in your culture, but a lot of Middle Eastern and European cultures, and it's something that plagues us.
Yes.
The evil eye.
I literally was talking about this the other day.
The evil eye.
The evil eye. I've got one on now.
Let's talk about the evil eye for those who weren't raised by superstitious witches like we were.
Okay, honestly, and being raised by superstitious witches will literally my whole life is like this, not walking under ladders,
and throwing salt over your left shoulder and stuff.
Literally.
Okay, so let's talk about the evil eye.
Yes, okay. So the evil eye, I don't know if you have been told the same.
Okay, well we'll see which is right.
We'll see. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, here we go. So the evil eye, from what I was raised, is that it is people putting jealousy on you. So when people are jealous, they give you the mati, we'd say in Greek.
And we say the eye.
The eye, yeah, there you go. And the evil eye is basically, there's many ways because people can just be giving you the eye. They can be looking at you in a jealous way, but they also can do it by sort of saying, Antoinette, I love your hair. It looks really nice, but they don't actually mean it, and that can also be the evil eye too.
So do you have to? We have a phrase we have to say afterwards to prevent us from getting the evil eye.
I need to know this phrase.
So we say smasalib, or smalla.
Oh, I love
So we say the two words as in to ward off.
Yes.
So you might have said, I really like that handbag. Where did you get it
Where'd
from?
you get it?
And then all of a sudden, the handbag gets stuck in a train door and you're dragged by a train.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you know what? And it would happen like that. And it would be crazy.
And if you don't say smasalib or smalla or something like that, then it's definitely going to happen.
I'm obsessed with that. I was going to say, I'm glad that I know that now because I feel like all we've been told is just wear the evil eye.
Oh, okay. So we have that pinned on us from childbirth.
Yes.
And my mother really believes that her younger sister passed away when she was 4. And I'm like, my mother did grow up in a tiny little village with no access to healthcare. And I'm like, Mum, what happened to your younger sister? And she said, well, she was really beautiful. And one lady in the village said to her, you are so beautiful. And then the next day, her neck flopped and she couldn't. I was like, what? And then she died. I was so you're telling me that this lady in the village said, your sister is really beautiful. And then her bones, she's like, yes, and then she died.
And you know what my yaya would say? She goes, exactly, because they put jealousy on her. You have to be careful because they put jealousy.
And I shouldn't be laughing because it's tragic that this 4-year-old died.
Horrible.
I'm like, Mum, she probably had some genetic disease that was undetected.
But isn't it always what I find so funny, and I love it though, is the whole idea of the evil eye is people are jealous.
Yeah, she's really beautiful.
She's really beautiful. And it's almost I love it. It's almost this confidence of people are jealous of us and they're going to try and bring you down. But also I feel bad for laughing too, but it's so funny because it is almost this way of being that explains it.
Yeah,
that explains it.
I was like, and that's it.
And that's
then
it.
She died.
And then she died. And then you're going, oh my God, the evil eye. And then that's your fear for your whole life.
But even though I think it's,
obviously
silly.
You're going, yeah.
But then I actually
believe
honest?
it. I actually do believe it. It is silly, and there's moments where I go, Elouise, calm down. But like, I'll never forget my dad's funeral, and we had all like obviously distant relatives coming to the coming to the church, and then my dad going, put salt on your tongue after this. Like, don't make sure you put salt on your tongue because they're all going, you're very beautiful girls. Like, you're very, to me and my sisters, we're going, thank you, and then he's going, put salt in your tongue. They obviously don't mean it. Like, it's almost like they don't mean it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a way you have to protect yourself.
So you always wear your evil eye.
I try to always. Can I be honest? I haven't got any tattoos, but there's a part of me that's like, if I was going to get one, it would be the evil eye.
And you wear it on stage because you're so hot and funny, and people will be cursing you from the audience.
Because of my yaya always she always goes, do your cross, which also I'm not religious in any way. I was baptized Greek Orthodox, but every time before the show I'll do my cross. It's like a ritual now. Yeah. Because of yaya telling me to. And then I also feel like there's definitely moments where I do wear the eye, but there was during Perth I actually didn't wear my eye because I have a necklace as well with my christening cross, but I feel like I don't wear it all the time, but there's a part of me that's like, if something happened, I'd be like, it's because I didn't wear my eye.
Yeah.
And I would make that the reason, but there's a part of me that's like, maybe I do need to get a tattoo of the eye. I'm going to protect myself at all times. At all times. Because literally my yaya would be like, when I got really sick once when I was doing the show house, when I was emceeing and dancing and singing in that show, and I got so sick for like 3 days, and Yaya comes over and she's doing something with the oil and the water, and she's going,
oh yes, we do that to ward off the
ward off, and she goes, someone see you doing their concert and they jealousy on you and they say, oh, she look nice. That's what, and I go, what do you mean? Like,
I mean, I do look nice.
I do look nice, but what do I but it's almost one of the most beautiful things that, like, I feel like all my, I was about to say skip friends, but Aussie friends are like, should I get an evil eye? And I'm going, I'll buy you one. You should never buy your own. You never buy your own evil eye. Did you hear this too?
I do know that.
So Abby, our friend Alex and I in Byron Bay got these rings for each other. Like, we all bought them for each other, and we did a little with the with some incense, and it was like, this is real for me. This is real. I feel like so many cultures believe it. So
a lot of cultures believe it, even though it stems from a lot of communities that have otherwise strong religious beliefs. And I think it actually contradicts
it.
Like, that you shouldn't
believe it. I don't think
the
priests are very happy about it. But I'm also going, what would they know?
Exactly.
Look, I'd rather believe the evil eye and the witches in the village than the priest who's like, who knows what they're doing. You know what I mean?
This has been such a pleasure chatting, and I would honestly, just putting it out there, love to see you do a show about the evil eye.
You know what? Can I be honest? This is what my next show is going to be about. A little bit about the evil eye. Well, also, this show technically is about that, but I don't really talk about the evil eye, but I'm feeling very like I need to talk more about my heritage. I did say to you before, I did like a little bit the other night as Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love. And I feel like my next show, I've been telling a few people about this, but my next show is about how I've never been in love and I don't know if it's real. And I feel like I want it to be a little bit more cultural about how my yaya and my baba met their husbands, my dedos, and even about all of that, and even about the evil eye and how, culturally, I feel like even finding love is like it's like a cultural thing almost as well, and sort of how that's changed and how grown. And I feel like I need to talk more about it because I think people relate to the evil eye.
Every second person who visits Greek's walking around with an evil eye tote bag, and I'm like,
you go, do you even know?
Do you even know what this is?
Do you even know what this is? Literally. Maybe I need to put it in this show because I do talk about, I'm like, I feel like I know you guys are jealous of me. And it's like, it's not my fault, like it's silly to say it on stage in my, I guess I'd say heightened persona, but it's just, it's fun. I feel like I do need to talk about it more,
It has been an absolute hoot. I'm going to say it for you. Isma Salib. I'm going to ward off all the compliments that I have given to you.
God, you're good. I'm going, and same to you, Joel. I'm loving this. Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's been, honestly, it's so
a blast.
Fun. It's been great.
Elouise Eftos, you can catch, Australia's first attractive comedian. She is doing the Comedy Festival route. First stop is the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, then the Brisbane Comedy Festival, and in mid-May she'll be in Sydney for Sydney Comedy Festival. It's time for the Weekend List, where Helen Smith, producer extraordinaire, joins me as we unpack what to do, what to watch, what to eat, and everything in between. because for some reason we think our opinion matters. Helen, what have you got to suggest this week?
My first recommendation is a book called Sharp Objects. Now, of course, I didn't actually read this with my eyes. I did the audiobook, as I always do.
Yep.
It's by Gillian Flynn, and this book is not what I expected going into it. Well, it's called Sharp Objects for a reason. The main character actually self-harms, and you find that quite early on in the book, but it follows, her name is Camille Preaker, and she's a reporter now living in Chicago, and she goes back to her hometown where 2 tweens have been murdered. And it follows these murder cases that they brought in experts and police from other states, but they just can't get to the bottom of it. And she kind of becomes this key role in the unveiling of these murders. And it's well written. I think the audiobook that I listened to, I didn't love the voice of the lady who was doing it.
Yeah, right.
But there's lots of different versions.
So it's crime fiction, essentially.
Crime fiction. But I think it's got that reporter female character at the crux of it, which I loved. It's a pretty dark book. It says here mystery, thriller, crime, suspense, which it does have all of those things. I think the ending of the book was really good. Like, it was a bit slow in some parts, but I can see why this book is a bestseller. It's got on here on the Goodreads over 1 million ratings.
Oh,
and it's sitting at
that's huge.
4.0.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a great book, but stick with it if you're not a reader like me. If you can get through like the first, probably the first quarter of it, you're fine. It's really interesting. It's a bit dark, so be prepared. I wouldn't read it if you weren't looking for those darker themes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the end is very unexpected. That's all I'll say.
Okay, thank you for that recommendation, Helen. Obviously, this is fiction, but mental health and self-harm isn't something we should be too flippant about. So if this has brought up anything for you, always remember you can call Lifeline 24/7 on 13 11 14. That's Lifeline 13 11 14. Hard to pivot from Lifeline to my recommendations, but here goes.
Sorry, Aunt.
Harvest snapped baked pea crisps is my recommendation.
What?
Harvest snaps. It's in the health food section.
Those bloody pea chip
baked
things.
pea chips.
Oh my God, yeah.
I love them
Oh.
because I am a chippy monster. Like, I don't love sweets, but I love savoury. And they have a 5-star health rating.
Okay.
And you get them in the health food section of your major supermarkets. And they come with the original flavour, all salt and vinegar or chili. And they're crunchy and they're not unhealthy. And maybe I found a loophole because I gave up chips for Lent, but I'm eating these baked snap peas.
That is such a loophole. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They're not in the chips aisle at the supermarket. They're in the health food aisle at the supermarket. They crunch like a chip. And
Yeah, I've had them before. They're quite good.
they're really good.
Yeah.
And so a kind of guilt-free snack. Harvest Snaps baked pea crisps. They come in, it's not a very sophisticated recommendation, but it's my obsession at the moment. And they come in 3, maybe even 4 flavours. And that is my recommendation this week.
Love it. Easy and great. My recommendation is also pretty random.
Yeah.
Birthday cakes from the old Women's Weekly cookbooks.
Oh, baking them.
Yeah, like making them. But
Yeah.
I'm not baking the cake. I'm just putting it all together and making it look cool. So do you remember the Women's Weekly cookbooks with the wild cakes?
Not really. Oh.
With the like swimming pool jelly cakes or the ones and
all the character crazy
they
cakes.
all look a bit weird.
Yes, okay, yes.
So I recently made one for my birthday, which was last weekend. And
You made your own birthday cake?
Yeah, I do it every year. I'm obsessed. I love it. No, it's so fun. I literally tell people don't make me a cake because it's my thing.
Okay, because I was about to feel a little bit sorry for you. But if it's something that you want to do for yourself.
Because I made, so the last year I made a prawn cake and then a frog cake.
Okay, does anybody come to your birthday party if this is what's on offer?
Yes, they do, I promise. And this year I made a piggy cake that had blonde hair that was snakes, like made out of those lolly snakes. And it was just from the Women's Weekly cookbook. And I was like, this is amazing.
So what was this year's birthday cake?
A piggy.
Oh, this year's was the piggy.
Yeah, this year's was the piggy.
Okay.
So, yeah, and look, it's just a bit of fun. Like birthdays are so, I know as I'm getting into my like late 20s, birthdays can still be so fun and silly. Like, it's just a silly concept to celebrate you. And I love these cakes. And I think it's like my generation, it's giving us that nostalgia back of when we were in primary school and everyone's like, oh my God, that's that cake from blah. So yeah, it's just a bit of fun. So if you're looking for inspo of an ugly kind of cute birthday cake, check out that Woman's Weekly stuff. It's OG. It's great.
Okay, I love that. Also, sticking with the positive energy, my final recommendation, we hear a lot about gratitude journals, and I think I've spoken before about gratitude journals because there is a bunch of research which shows that if you reflect and give gratitude, it actually has quite significant impacts on your mental well-being. So I'm going to take this little step further, and what I've been doing lately is going and leaving positive reviews on things, like showing gratitude for other people.
Okay.
Because it just actually, often people when they go to TripAdvisor or Bookings.com or Google, often, not always, it's to say something mean, to be like, oh, my room wasn't ready and the food had a cockroach in it or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of that. Obviously not everybody, but I'm finding just taking a moment to be like, you know what, that waiter was so nice and really attentive and did this and did that. And so just taking the time to say, put really nice things out there about other people.
Put it out there. Put the energy out there.
So if you don't feel like doing the gratitude journal, it's like I'm really appreciative for my health and the fact that I have a job and whatever. There's another way to show gratitude, and that is to randoms on the internet.
I love that because I agree. Most people will go and make a review if it's negative, right? Like the majority, if you go through reviews, you'll see negative, and then the positive ones sometimes they don't even leave a comment. So you're like, hey, dude, what was good about it? Like I want to go there.
How often do you go on and leave a review?
I never do. I don't even leave bad ones.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not a review girly.
Are you guided by them when you make a decision about where to eat or what movie to watch or whatever?
No.
Okay, so you
I
are
only talk to my
agnostic
friends
about reviews.
Yeah, I don't believe them.
Okay.
I don't believe reviews generally, but I don't know. I think that's just because I'm like, is this a bot that did this, or is this a human,
or just a disgruntled ex-employee, or whatever?
Or they could even have a bad day.
I do believe in them a little more than you do, but I also believe in how it's just nice, and I'm sure somebody reads it at the other end, and maybe they had a hard day at work or whatever, and they appreciate that you
smile.
Yeah, that you see them. That's it for this week. Thanks so much for hanging out. It is always such a pleasure to spend time with you, and we would love for you just to take one moment to share this episode with someone you think might enjoy it. And if you're feeling super generous, just like those gratitude reviews online, we would love for you to give us a review. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us what you love about it. And we will be back next week, of course, the team from Monday with the headlines and a fascinating deep dive straight to your headphones. Take care of each other. Be kind. Put out positivity in the world. Catch you soon.
Listener.